We have school buses roaming the highways for another week, and then that's it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Last day is the 28th?
9th.
29th.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. And then it's summer break. Kids running out of the school. Remember those days when you were a kid, the final
yes.
day of school when you were a little kid?
Oh, my gosh.
I know this is old, but because you all don't remember this, but we had May Day, May 1st, and we would play out on the playground for a couple hours. That was such a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Did they do like outdoor classes? Wouldn't it be nice once in a while?
yes.
Did you ever do that? We used to do that. Like, come
Great
on,
days,
we're going
great
outside to
days.
learn.
I
today.
liked that.
Yeah, great days.
We didn't realize it was the teacher who was all excited about going outside more than we were.
Especially if it was a teacher of a middle school class.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because boys don't quite figure out deodorant yet
Oh.
when they're
No.
in middle school. Yeah, and then you learn.
Or they figured out too much, and you get those kids spraying all that stuff, and you can barely breathe.
Hey,
With a mixture of the.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Damon Wright yesterday, Jackie, said that you were the mean secretary at the North Middle School when he went there.
Yes, I'm glad I got out of the secretary mode because I moved up in the ranks, but I guess.
Were you mean?
No, I was not.
He was
I
being funny that time.
That's
I know
the
he
rumor.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damon has a great sense of humor.
Unless it's aimed at you.
Look, I've been on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he does have a good sense of humor. He's got this knack.
Yeah, dry.
Of he'll just plops a comment in somewhere, and you're just sitting there going, "Did he just say that?"
Awesome.
And I got to figure out if he's talking about me.
Usually, no.
Yeah, usually.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
The president takes the swords, right?
Yeah, he sits beside me on the meeting nights, and he has to. He goes to work at 6, or probably leaves at 5:30.
Sure.
So he's
Yeah.
telling me to. We talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Really?
and discuss a lot, and he's kind of trying to move me up, and I try to move us along, but you don't want to cut people off because we have a lot to talk about.
We do this morning as well.
Yeah.
Now
There's
we're
a
not
lot.
we're not going to do devices. I'm saving that for Dr. Sachs tomorrow. There's been a good bit of stuff that's been forwarded to me about devices being sent home with kids for the summer, and I don't know if it's a couple people complaining a lot or if it's a bunch of people complaining a little. I just know what messages get forwarded to me off social media, and Dr. Sachs is going to address those tomorrow. I want to talk about North Middle School with you folks this morning and some other things as well, but let's start with North Middle as well. You probably heard the intro from Damon there. We asked him about it yesterday. Jackie, I'm going to go to you second, even though you have rank, but Melissa has the biggest smile right now, so I want to go to her first.
I am just ecstatic. Tuning in, I wasn't able to attend in Charleston with Dr. Sachs and Ms. Long. I'm going to tell you, it is a proud moment when you have seen the work and effort put in from the board office, board office, teachers, staff, parents, everybody coming in and just saying, okay, how do we change this and fix this and turn this around? And it has been, while last year it was definitely something that was horrible. I fundamentally believe that it was a blessing to us, and it really helped turn things around for that school and that community. And in a year, it is a remarkable difference. But that's the heart and dedication of everybody just working together, and I love that.
Jackie? There I am. Jackie, do these situations usually turn around that quickly?
No, I've seen counties in this state be on those emergency takeovers for 10 years and get off of them and go back on. Many counties. But,
Well, tell me why this one turned around so quickly.
well, really, it was such a shock to us, and I know that people think you must have had your head in the sand, but I think we looked at North as that's just North. Well, that's not the way you should look at a school. Those kids deserve a great education just like everybody else, just like other students. And we blamed it on the feeder schools. Well, if you look around at the feeder schools, they're not having discipline issues. Maybe a few discipline issues, but nothing that's over the top at all. So you have to look then at what what's dealt you, and it definitely was the school itself. You know, we had many uncertified teachers, and that's been corrected a lot. And those permanent subs there have got, a lot of them have gotten their certification, and just having that those people from the State Department come in and say this school's a mess. I've never seen anything like it. And when you have the Department of Ed tell you, I've never seen anything like it, when there's other counties out there that you think are so terrible, then you know that's a hit. And it fell back on us too, because you know evidently we all just when you would go into North before, you know, there'd be some kids sitting in the hall or sitting in the office, and the principal was dealing with them. You know, she did that constantly and did a good job at what she was trying to do. But when you have a huge number of those students that you're trying to correct, but also trying to educate, it's a problem, and it became a bigger problem than we realized. So, you know, the forces came in, and from the Department of Ed, Kelly Masanopa was there all the time at first, and Holly Klepner, she was boots on the ground every day over there, and Kevin Pittsnoggle, and the staff. I mean, you have to give kudos to the teachers, the service personnel, the APs, all of them, right from the beginning. It was buy-in. We can fix this. You know, I'm sure some of them thought, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it, and they did. That school's just entirely different if you walk in there. It's just amazing.
And to that end, I think it's the support aspect. It's the support not just from you know the county office, but then it's also support from the state. You've got backup.
Yeah.
We're here to support you. We're coming alongside you. We see you, we hear you, and we're not leaving you alone until we can, you know, figure this out with you. So I think that was that in and of itself probably reinvigorated a lot of our staff who were tired and exhausted. When you're tired and exhausted, you know, it's hard to get up in the morning and want to go to work.
And I'll say this.
I know.
Yes.
Jeff Kelly from the Office of Accountability is over all this, said to me when we were there the other day that actually he had never, in the time he's been there, ever seen a school turned around so quickly and done so well at it, and that they could see, you know, this isn't something that's just, okay, we've done this and let's get off this improvement plan and we'll go back to where we were. No, there's a, you know, there's concrete fundamental change there. And, you know, you give kudos to Kevin Pittsnoggle and all the staff. And I think that one of the biggest things of putting the APs in with every grade level, there's an AP at every quarter, grade-wise, and they're in charge of those students. And
AP is an assistant principal?
Assistant principal, yes. So
they've got like little mobile desks that they've got that they can
travel
walk up and down the hall and tackle things in the moment instead of waiting.
And if you go in there, you know, kids are in class, kids aren't in the hall, and learning's going on. There's just been a lot, and I know Kevin can delve into exactly what they've done and how they've made such progress, but it's such a good feeling. And I think a good feeling.
I think another one, and that we're seeing this across the whole county, is the discipline matrix. You know, we spent a few years working on this and fine tuning it, and I think this year we're starting to see some of the fruits of that hard work of really trying to help get the kids back in the classroom so they can learn, but also understanding that behaviors, you know, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, and you know, when you start going down that path of what's wrong, there are consequences to some of those negative behaviors. And you know, talking with you know, a principal yesterday, you know, he was one of the individuals that was on the discipline committee that helped with the matrix, and he said it is helping. It is
changes
helping.
were made.
Changes are being realized.
And accountability. We have to hold kids accountable. You just can't pull Johnny aside and say, no, you can't do that anymore. I mean, you can to some kids, so it depends on what the discipline issue was. But there has to be consequences for your actions. And, that's being worked on, and we're holding kids accountable.
Jonathan?
Did you find with the state stepping in and taking over that, which I know was embarrassing? I mean,
it was embarrassing, but it
was needed. It was needed. Oh no, it was needed. But
it was also, I can't believe the state's in Berkeley County. That's all I could think of. I can't believe that and I don't mean that. I don't know how I mean it, but I was just shocked.
I think you probably mean we should be doing better.
Yeah, we should be better than this.
Well, did you find that other principals and other schools in our county, and we've got a great education system, my kids went through it, did you find that other principals stood up and said, whoa, wait, hold on, I don't want to get my school headed down that road? Did it give a correction to the overall county school system as people watched what happened with North?
I don't see that too much. I think that it might be a little wake-up call.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
yes.
That, we are under the microscope like other counties. They when your test scores fall that bad, and you have the Department of Ed come in and they're looking over things, and they go into a school and they tell you, I've never seen anything like this in my life. That's a huge wake-up call, and I know the rest of the principals in this county don't want that.
They don't want it, and I think too is
and they expect better.
I go back to what one of the things I had said a few minutes ago, where it was a collaborative effort from the boardroom all the way to the classroom. So we as a board collectively had to make some decisions maybe that weren't the most popular. And then there was a discipline matrix that got reevaluated, and there was revisions done for this school year. And so when you look at it from those couple of angles, and then you look at it from the perspective of the state coming in and providing some support, some add-ins, you've now got a lot of buy-in to what Ms. Long said a few minutes ago. You had the buy-in from staff. So I think it was just this perfect storm, yes, but it was a perfect storm that led to a fertilization in that school that could really help grow something instead of just weeds.
Well,
oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
No, I told the state board when we were there last week that something so horrible turned into the best thing that could have happened to that school and our county to get us on a right path to that. What we've found out that's going on there that we can replicate in other schools if we need to.
That's great that you turned it into a great thing and that you've turned it around, because like you said before,
blessing.
I mean, those kids deserve the same education.
Yes.
Are our test scores, I mean, I know things went down a little bit right around COVID. Are our test scores across the board in our county, are they coming back up to where they were before COVID?
They're coming back.
Nice.
Yeah, Melissa can tell you too. Last night, Dr. Sachs gave us a picture into our test scores, and we have some
real positive
changes, and that's just such a good feeling. What we saw last night was the math test scores, and
what did they show you?
Increases.
There's been, in some cases, there's been a lot of growth. In other cases, it's just been a small amount of growth. But if you look at maybe even the year previous, it was even smaller growth or no growth at all. So one of the things that Dr. Sachs was talking about with us last night is that now that they've got some of these numbers, you can now have middle schools. If one middle school was, maybe doing a little bit better than another middle school, those two, can collaborate to figure out, what did you do? What did we do? That can help adjust our numbers to help us in the classroom with our students. So it's, we have, I think, a lot of individuals in the right place at the right time for such a time as this, and we are at the cusp, I think, of realizing some great gains, not just in behaviors, but also in academics.
What we saw in some of the schools was just a remarkable increase.
Yes.
So, but you have to sustain that. It just can't be for now. He also said the reading test scores were really good.
One of the things you said before I found great was you said we had a lot of uncertified teachers, and y'all are working hard to get them certified, to get them through the process. Right. I think that's the best way to get teachers is to grow them, is to build them.
Yes.
I don't remember. I remember that we had a meeting in the last few months, and where we were told a number, and I am not going to remember the number, but it was a decent amount of some of our long-term subs that have become certified. They're going through the process and have become.
They said 17. I could be wrong.
I was going to say it was more than a dozen.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought.
Which is actually phenomenal, because the state of West Virginia has opened up that door for alternative ways to get that certification, and our teachers, the passion that's there with our teachers that are not certified, you can see they're trying so hard to get as much, and they're like sponges. They're trying to get so much information to improve their classroom. So it's you can see the desire is there.
Well, and I have to give kudos to the HR department. They work with those.
They do.
And the instructional department. They work with those people constantly to work on their how they get their certification, what they need to do.
Matt Miller.
As you come to the end of a school year and into the summer months, obviously you start thinking, you've already been thinking of next year, and we talk about teachers.
For months we've been thinking of next year.
Are we seeing the shortage in teachers continuing that we have been having, or through the certification process, and even just through those who are coming out of college, are we seeing more interest in teaching right now?
Well, that's probably something more to ask Dr. Sachs what he sees from the HR department, but we do. HR gives us a list of progress of
some
stats. Yeah, thank you. Of what how many are resigning, and right now resignations are coming in, so we see that a lot on the board.
Yeah.
But
or
now,
retirements.
Retirements. But now today. Jobs will be posted, 120 jobs, and that sounds like a lot, but perm subs have to be posted every year, and then in the middle of the year, in January, so they'll have to be reposted.
We have less perm subs this year than we did last year at the end of the year.
We had 205 this year, and last year we had 250.
So I mean that's a significant amount,
That's great.
We still have an uphill. Let's say it this way: we still have an uphill battle to climb, right? This is where it gets a little frustrating, because we know in the Eastern Panhandle what the issues are that we're facing. We have 2 states on either side of us that sandwich us, and a third one if you count the fact that Pennsylvania is so close to, through Maryland, you could just straight shot up 81. So you've got several districts surrounding us that make a heck of a lot more money than what we are able to do. Some people would say, well, if you cut this, then maybe you can, put it towards teachers. One of the things that is startling to I think a lot of individuals is that if you even to cut one position, let's say they make $100,000, that's pennies for each staff member for a raise. That's pennies.
Plus, you have to stay within 15% of the state's guidelines for pay. You can't give teachers here 50% more money.
You just can't do that. And the unfortunate part is some of those restrictions that are there, we're doing the best that we can with what we've got. One of the things that we just did with the budget was we kept the housing allowance, which gives all of our staff a little bit extra money in their paycheck around Christmas time.
$2,250, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that cost us almost $9 million to do that.
Well, and the crazy thing is that is a lot of money out of the budget, but it's such a drop in the bucket. Oh, it's so worth it, but it's such a drop in the bucket compared to what our teachers budget should be paid.
Yep.
And that 15% thing is ridiculous.
And this is the part that's hard, because when you go to Charleston, oh, we were so close. We were so sticking close this year for passing, that picture of locality pay, name it for, whatever that is, with whatever bill that because I know there were several bills that were trying to entertain more of the locality pay, but we were so close. I feel like we're almost there. I would love to see our legislators really, listen to what is going on in the Eastern Panhandle. I would love, for what we're experiencing here, I would love that for the rest of the state. I would love for every single county to be growing. I would love for every single county to be, quote unquote, a border county, so they'd understand the need to have highly qualified educators in the classroom. We hear all the time about how public school is failing. Well, part of the reason why public school is failing is because we're not funding it right. So, I mean, let's talk about that for just a second.
Well, and last night we had HR gave us a blow-by-blow report on PEIA, what it's going to cost our employees.
That needs to get fixed.
If you have a spouse, it's $350 a month increase if you have your spouse on your insurance.
And the spouse, if the spouse has access to insurance themselves, but it's still a significant increase.
What they've told us, a lot of individuals have come in and taken their spouse off their insurance because they can't afford it, and just the increase in general for our employees is
14%.
14%.
Okay, now, when I get you guys, I usually try to get you for an hour, and you say, I can only do a half an hour. There's a lot more to talk about, but we're out of time. It's a half an hour segment.
We're done.
You're out.
done?
You're
We're
done. Yeah. Next time, the full hour.
Okay.
Jackie's like, okay, Melissa said, I don't think so. Hey, thanks to both of you for coming.
Getting started, really.
That's what I'm talking about.
Getting warmed up.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I mean, if I get
Are
up
you
and-
Italian?
No.
Well, you should be.
I was going to say,
with me.
there's got to be Italian
There's gotta be
somewhere
some
in there.
Italian in
She's
there.
got the spunk for it.